Destalker here, just heading off to the bike shop to see about picking up some brake pads for my bike. I noticed after I got my tires replaced, my bike handles great now, but I noticed the stopping distance is a little mediocre in my opinion. So I ordered up some high performance brake pads which should give me a little bit more grip. So with any luck I get a little bit better stopping. The police sitting there hiding, trying to get people speeding. Since I've replaced the tires and got them all worked in now, I notice that I'm still requiring a little bit more brake pressure than I prefer to slow down this thing. So I decided to order up a new set of performance brake pads. And I am going to go and install them. So I'll post a picture of what they are right here. You can see they're EBCs, and I've used EBC brake pads for all the years I was racing and never had a problem with them. So it is a brand I trust. And once I install them, I will take her up a little run and let you know what I think. Hey everybody, Destalker here. So I thought I'd actually show you a quickie brake change on an RC51. So as you can see, it actually only uses two different bolts to get the calipers off, to service them and replace them with the brake pads. And the pads I'm going to be using are these EBC high performance sintered pads. So I've actually already pre-loosened all the bolts. So I'm pretty certain everyone knows how to do that. And I just pull the calipers away, and they need a slight twist. And these particular pads in here actually have a lot of life in them, but they're just not helping with the stopping as good. So I'll pop them out and see if the new ones will make a difference. And I'm not going to bother going too detailed in brake servicing. There is people out there, that's a retaining spring, who are way more experienced than me. Yeah, these pads are not very good. So we're going to take those out. First thing I have to do though is I got to clean out the inside here. You can see it's actually all full of brake dust and so forth. And I'm going to stop the camera and get away from it, because when you hit brake cleaner, the last thing you want is having your camera lens hit with brake cleaner fluid. So be back in a bit. Okay, I'm back. So as you can see, the caliper has all been cleaned. It actually looks a heck of a lot better than it did before. The one thing you wanted to use is you might want to use a bucket to catch the overflow. When you use a lot of brake cleaner, it tends to fall on the ground. I also tend to wrap the caliper in old rags or whatnot, or shop rags, just so that you try to keep the spray from going everywhere else, especially like in your eye or your nose or your mouth. It is a pretty toxic substance. One thing I forgot to mention was that you do need a big screwdriver just to pry the pads apart, to put the pistons back inside the calipers, so that when it comes time to put them back on, you don't have a problem. Like those ones just slip right on. And the most important thing about doing your brakes is always make certain that you torque the bolts to factory spec. Always invest in a shop manual if you're going to do maintenance on your own bike. I've got the official Honda one. So what I have is a torque wrench already set here to the, I'll grab the right socket. I already have a torque wrench set to the correct torque spec. And right now, see, I'm just doing them finger tight just to snug them up a little bit. Now I gotta go on here, which of course means I need the other adapter. Just this one. I believe these are 22 foot-pounds. And I still have to do the caliper bolts, which if I recall are 16. So I smacked my head into something. 13. There you go. And the most important thing to remember to do once you've done your brakes, pump that brake lever up. So that's side one down. Side two will only take a couple minutes more. It's a nice thing about brake jobs. You have all the tools, they're really easy to do. Be back in a sec. Okay, so brake job is done. And I've replaced pads on both the front rotor and back rotor. The lever has been pumped back up, so I actually have brakes when I first try to use them. The pads themselves pretty heavily glazed from lots of use and whatnot, but there's lots of life left in them. They just were probably just too glazed over to actually give any feedback and good stopping power. So the new ones hopefully will solve the problem. I haven't bled the brakes. I changed the fluid a couple months ago, and the brake lever doesn't feel like it's got any softness in it, so I don't think that's a problem. And I'm going to take it for a test drive, and as long as that comes back fine, my brakes are good, and I think I'll actually have a bike that'll be good for the rest of the season. So time to get it off the stand and get it outside before it rains this afternoon. Yeah, I think the brakes are what I did was when I was driving down the side streets, I sort of drove for about a block with my fingers just sort of putting steady pressure on the brakes, just to force the new pads to beat in quicker. I'll tell you right now, the brakes, now that they're worked in, are probably 2 or 3 times better than the ones I had on the bike. No matter what, you never want to hit that truck. This shit will hit the fan. So the brakes are 2 or 3 times better than what I had, which is good. So with the front tire, the new tires, and the new brakes, I think I got a bike.